Okay, hi guys, I'm Chris from Perchta.
Hi, I'm Lukas from Perchta.
And I'm Simon, the drummer from Perchta.
There are two answers because the first album was made different than the second one. The first was, I think, only Julia together with the first producer working on the songs. Julia has the ideas, the lyrics, the theme about what the song should be or the whole album should be, and they arranged the songs for it. And the second album, there I can talk more because I was involved in the songwriting like these two guys. The first time we wrote as a band. Julia brought the ideas, lyrics, also some kind of melodies and thoughts of this song should be more brutal, should be speed up, or should be maybe in a different vibe than the others. And she threw all the ideas in, and then we worked together, making demos, listening to it, what works out, what does not work out, and everyone spreads his ideas in it.
I think it was like a big jam session at the end of the day. We found ourselves at the cottage in the Alps, which we booked for multiple days.
And pretty remote hut, so we were locked away from the world and everything, so we could focus just on writing and feeling the music in the landscape that sort of also shapes the band and the sound of the band.
Yeah, it was a beautiful Indian summer, so to say, at the end of fall, where we recorded.
It was Halloween weekend.
It was the Halloween weekend, exactly, and we still had like good temperatures up there, I recall. But yeah, big jam session, Julia throwing in ideas, as Lukas just said, and in the end, one of us eventually came up with a riff, and any one of us then transforms it into the final idea. So how about we play it like that? And that's why then again we can go back to our backgrounds in music teachings or the bands that we played in, which are big influences, of course, to how we interpret music, how we want to play music, and what we listened to in our youth. So it's a conglomeration of all of that.
And it was basically a ripple effect. So someone did something and a different person then picked it up and transformed it and did something on top of it. And then another one came in and did something on top. So the flow was really easy. We weren't stuck. So sometimes in songwriting, I think every musician knows it. You get stuck, you don't know how to continue. But in these 2 days or 3 days where we just wrote the music, we weren't like stuck. It was always going with the flow. And sometimes we lost it altogether, but then we sat outside in the sun for a couple of minutes, and then someone had an idea and then rushed back in and play it. So it was very fluent.
In my opinion, and I think I speak for all of us, transforming the folklore, the stuff into the music can be done on different layers. It can be done lyrical-wise, it can be also optical-wise, it can be done musical-wise by instruments or by the way the music is written and the instruments or separately. And I think with Perchta, the dulcimer, the hammer dulcimer, brings its own sound, and this brings the folklore Tyrolean stuff into it because it sounds like it sounds, but it also sometimes played, especially for some reasons, like it should be, and sometimes it's just played like the idea, like you would play it on an electric guitar or sing it in melody or stuff like that. And this combined with the tradition of the midwife, compared with the tradition of the midwife and stuff like that, it's all in the flow of folkloric stuff, I think. And we don't think especially of the folklore thing. We know that this is a part of it, but we don't think it's a border or something that's
it never boxes us in.
Yeah.
So it's not, we don't force it onto our songs. I know it's like a central part of the music and of the whole thing, but we never force it. So if something doesn't need it, it doesn't get it. But if there is room for it, we put it in. And if from some melodies on the dulcimer, a really hammered riff is created, then it happens. So I don't think it ever boxed us into any direction or anything, because we never force anything.
I find it quite interesting. If you, for example, look at the band Ulva, they made their first album, which was pure black metal, and afterwards they made the album Queltzanger, which is a rather folk-oriented album with just acoustic guitars, if I remember correctly. And they kind of did the interpolation the other way around, like we did. I mean, coming from a very rich cultural background in Austria with a lot of folklore, a lot of traditions, which we try to channel into what we actually do in Perchta. We see it like as an addendum, I think. So to say, if we want to say that we make our own way of like black metal heritage. I hope that's not a sacrilege to say now here in Oslo.
When it comes down like to the absolute basics of what folk music really is, it's just something that was created not on purpose, but it just happened because the people did it, and so it happens. Same with black metal. There was something, people did it. They didn't force it. So they are both things that naturally grew how they are today. And they started somewhere small, spread around, and therefore I see them quite similar. So you said black metal is a type of folk. Yes, I would agree on that.
I thought about this question some time ago, and I thought that black metal helped the flow of folklore, because black metal is against Christianity, and Christianity really intruded a lot of folkloric areas and put their traditions over it, and black metal was fighting against it all the time. Maybe not to preserve the traditions of folklore, sometimes for other reasons, but I think it's also a good way to fight against traditions you don't want. So maybe that's what I thought, that it could be a helping part, black metal for folklore, and so I think they have a match in between fighting Christianity.
That's a good idea. It's just against repression in every kind of way. Whenever something represses, then you have to fight, and music is just a good tool for that. Music always helps with fighting repression, I think.
So I think black metal in its pure essence is about, there's a lot of death and destruction in black metal. And with Perchta we try to see the opposite side with creation. I mean, the album says, the last album is called Mutter, which is mother, or the mother, so to say. And it very much provokes the idea that you can also have a hefty side of birth. There's something brutal to creation as well, not just to destruction.
Yeah, the force of creation is equal, if not stronger, than the force of destruction.
And I also think that black metal can be a white canvas, as you called before, the folkloric thing, to work on it. And because black metal also allows noise, it allows straightforward riffing, it also allows a lot of other things, and we as humans have a lot of different traditional areas where we come from, if it's from Asian areas, from African areas, from American, for Central Europe, especially in Europe with these different cultures and their own music. And I think that's in every genre a good connection to develop something new, as it always happens. The people get mixed and cultures mixed, and then something new was invented or creates. And I think that is what all genres in general can learn from each other, or can combine and develop something new, because music always develops, and I think that's the best part about music. And not to forget your heritage is never a bad idea, but if you're stuck into that, it can be a blocker, you know. Simon, I give you the answer to you, but I want just to say something because you started that you are happy to see bands like us because we do something different than maybe a lot of bands, the straightforward black metal thing, and that's the answer for the question before. What bit combines black metal and folkloric? I think they are not opposites. I think they go the same path, because one gives to the other something that creates something new and interesting, as you said before. That's what I just want to say, because this question is really interesting to the question before.
Yeah, and when it comes to if we change anything about the live show, I do a lot of the planning, which set lists we're gonna play, how long we can play, and what order we play the songs in. But in general, we try not to change too much about what we do, because we want to transport the essence, our message, our music, our sound, and not try to fit in, because that wasn't the goal at no point, to fit into something. And I think by adapting, you give up a little bit of yourself, and we don't want that. We want to be as true and honest as possible with our sound and with ourselves. And yeah, you said it, authentic. That's the thing we try to achieve. So we try to sometimes give hints to like the sound guys or the light technicians on how to do our show, or what we would like to have. But we also let them some freedom to adapt to the venue, to the festival, to the place we are. But in terms of what comes from us on stage, it's just the authenticity that we bring. We don't change anything about that.
I mean, of course, the show evolved over the last 3 years since we exist as a live band. And first of all, coming back to your statement, thanks for being an avid listener, and we feel grateful to be here in Inferno Festival, and that our way of interpreting black metal and folk is appreciated. So that's very, very glad to hear. And speaking about the evolution of the live concert, yeah, as Simon has already said, we don't really adapt, but there's always one part which we then introduced at one point, where we were playing the new album, which includes a rather silent chapter in the live concert. You will see about that when you attend the live concert, so I won't spoil anything. Go to the concert.
Yeah, it's a good point. It was evolution, but never forced. So we never were like, yeah, we're gonna play that festival, we need to add another song. We always were like, we are at the point in our life evolution where a new part should be introduced and another part should be gone from the set.
And in my opinion, the Inferno Festival has a different vibe, because you're here in the motherland of black metal, and you're meeting so great bands, and especially of the old heroes you have, also from your young time when you listen to the first time black metal. These are the bands you listen to, and they were from here. And in that sense, of course, we have it makes us not nervous, but curious what we're gonna be and how our music will be heard by the people and what they say about it. And we want to be authentic, but in my personal way, I'm a bit nervous, of course, but especially for this show, because a long break since the last shows, and also a really great festival I've never been before, and I'm really happy to be here and to play here, to be guest and musician, fan and artist at the same time.
It started with just doing a live show and doing some performance, but over the time it's evolved into a performance that happens and that everybody kind of knows what they're doing, and certain things are the same all the time, but it's not a fully planned out process. I mean, the show is like goes through in one big part. We don't have like pauses to speak to the people or anything. It's like one entire thing, but it's not planned into every detail, because the vibe of the moment changes the behavior on stage sometimes.
I think one important aspect of the live show is that we use stage props which are sourced locally from Tyrolean area. We Julia uses like a felt drum with an antler as her drumstick. Also, we try to use cottons and banners, everything which we created ourselves, so to say. So nothing like remotely made. And I think that adds to the atmosphere, in a way. Also, the clothes that we wear on stage. For example, Lucas has the clothes of his craftsmanship. What is the job again? A carpenter, exactly. I have a lederhosen, and all of us we have shirts which are made in Austria directly.
Old ones. My shirt
Traditional
is
ones,
older than
yeah.
I am.
As we call it, Trachten.
Yes. We try to make the stage our little like living room. We have our things that are always there, we bring from home, we know, that are sometimes very old, sometimes we have a personal connection to the props. So we try to make the stage our living room to feel as comfortable as possible, and then the rest is very natural.
And I think concerning the thing that you said, that it takes you to a place, Simon just mentioned it, it's very much designed like in Austrian Stubenmusik or chamber music. You sit in a cottage or in a hut and you play music together, like in the cobblestone in Dublin. You see those musicians playing, and we have the same thing which is present in Austria, of course, but taking you places. The music which is performed in these small places is taking you places like beyond the mountains. And I think that's the important thing, that you have you feel the atmosphere.
I mean, in terms of live shows, we have some festivals coming up this year, mostly focused on just one show per country. So we have Netherlands with Eindhoven Metal Meeting, we play Hellfest in France, we play one show in Austria, which we recently announced. So we're also playing Italy for the first time, the Frantic Fest. So we have some spots all over Europe that we will be, but we do not have a big tour or are very present, because we want to keep it something special for us and for the people that like the music. It's sometimes hard. We hear people that say, please come to our city, but we really like keeping it special, keeping it a important thing and rare, so to say. So no big tour to promote, just some festivals throughout the year.